Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the CRKT MinimalX, my dislikes about it, my likes about it, and whether I think it's worth the price or not. So, as you've already found out, this CRKT MinimalX, it has 12C27 blade steel, pretty decent stuff. However, the price is right around 60 bucks. Not the best price. I got mine for 50 because I went to Sportsman's and price matched. So we're going to be taking this thing apart and talking about my dislikes about it. One of those being this pocket clip. It is it's not a deep carry, and I kind of like deep carry pocket clips. It's not a deal breaker. I didn't really look at it because it was one of them clam packs. And you can't quite see the back on those things. I'm just hoping I don't strip my T6. Risky right there. Okay, so this is a two-piece pocket clip, apparently. Well, I already knew that, but let's continue on. This knife was never very smooth, considering it's got the IKBS ball bearing system. It's about the least smooth knife I've had on bearings when warm. When it's cold, however, it's pretty dang smooth. I don't know why that would change so much. It's actually a significant difference. So we're going to take that apart and find out. I've also noticed one of my other dislikes is there's no access to the lock bar. It's just this huge pain in the butt to get to. And that's kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people. These are really small bearings. Sorry, I'm trying to look at it. I've never taken one of these things apart, and this is a weird blade shape. There's some heat that happened right here with the grinding. I've never seen that before either. Huh. Well, let's continue breaking this down. So apparently it has steel washers above those ball bearings, or in between the ball bearings and the blade, which isn't a big deal. Let's go ahead and get a Q-tip. And yes, I do reuse these sometimes. I also sometimes make multiple videos in a night, so if you see one that isn't clean, don't be surprised, because it could be the same one from the previous video. Go ahead and clean all this up. Yeah, there's some heat that happened when grinding that the face for the lock bar to go up against. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try and let it focus on it. But right here is brown compared to all the rest that's nice and silver. So the heat treat on that spot, this might not last as long as other knives would, which could be a worry. I don't normally worry about that because normally that doesn't happen. I haven't put any lubrication on this thing since buying it. I wanted to deal with all the problems that it had right off the bat, right out of the package. One of those being obviously the bearings aren't smooth out of the box. And that's not going to be a huge problem for everybody. It's probably something that I can fix. And we'll see if I can fix it right here. It's just something to think about. If you don't like your knives needing modification right out of the box, this might not be the knife for you. But it's also not something that's a very useful blade shape. It's not slicey at all. It's pretty thick behind the edge, and it's a serious wedge right here. Couldn't even cut open a avocado without squishing it the other day, which that's kind of disappointing, honestly. Okay, we will move on to lubrication. Right there, and one on the ball bearing right there. We'll go with, I'm not going to clean these. I don't have anything to clean them around right now. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more right there and there. Get the washer. So the other obvious problem that I already brought up was access to the lock bar sucks on this thing. Like, really sucks. If you've got large thumbs, it's not the knife for you. You're going to have to cut out right here on this thing to make it usable. Now let's go ahead and place this right here. Okay, we'll go with this next. You know, now that I think about it, I should probably put a little bit between the blade and this washer. Because I don't know what they use for lubrication on these things. I'm sure I could ask and they'd tell me, but right now is not a time to be asking that. We'll go ahead and put this back together in a semi-closed position. Okay, a little bit right here. Get back here. If you have a demagnetizer, use that on your tweezers. This is a pain. There we go. I am curious why they decided to put washers and bearings on this at the same time. There's that. Of course, a little bit more. Okay. Now let me see. This is going to be weird, having a lock pivot thing in the front. Well, that didn't work out. Oh, that's probably a pretty good explanation right there. Let me, well, pry bar's over in a different room. I guess I'll be... Found it. Well, this isn't great. That's what happens when you put something together wrong. Remove pressure off stuff, and then I guess it works. Forgot to put the backspacer in. So if you're ever taking yours apart, don't do that, because that sucked. Okay. Go ahead and go along with this. This isn't going to be fun. Maybe I should just have it open, and we'll see if I can fit this this bar in there. The pin, that's what it is. Cool. Okay, so that's the way to do it. Just double check and make sure on everything. Oh, cool, the pin locked in. That's great. There we go. Push the lock bar down so it doesn't cause any problems. Hope I've got the T8 on this thing. Okay. Now we'll move back on to the T6. Goes right there. I wonder where this goes. Yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, interestingly enough, they actually threaded this hole right here. Okay, now time for this. Now I'm not going to make it a pain in the butt for me later on. So let's go ahead and wipe everything off with isopropyl alcohol. We'll double check the centering real quick just in case. This thing's such a pain. Well, there we go. Now you guys know what I don't like about it. The flipper tab surprisingly works great. After the oil being used and this being all cleaned up, it is quite a smooth action, even when it is kind of warm. This is not something that you'll want to carry in the summer, as it is another one of those knives that will slip out of your hand. There's no grip to this thing whatsoever. Like, even with that pocket clip, you're not getting any grip on this thing. It's for fall or spring, early spring. Anyway, there you guys go. You know my thoughts on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and clean up. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you in the next one.